Brought to you by IWCRadio.com. It's the internet's most irreverent wrestling podcast. Now, please welcome Beans, Smoot, Chucks, and Will. This is the IWC.
Hello everyone and welcome to IWC Radio. This is episode 149 and we're coming to you live on youtube.com and via podcast on iTunes and any other means of podcasting. I'm your host Martin Nolan and I'm being joined as usual by Smoot and Will. How's it going, guys?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. I'm not too bad, thank you. I had to think then because Chucks isn't with us this week.
He is not.
He's currently returning back to the country, I believe, after a breakaway. So, yeah, I had to kind of just think because I nearly said his name. It's been highly inappropriate. So yes, how's it going, guys? Have we had a good couple of weeks, seeing as we wasn't able to do the show last week?
Yeah, good. I believe you've had a slightly more eventful week.
I certainly have. Well, I don't know. It depends what you guys have done. You might have even bigger weeks. I don't know.
No, I
top that, not yet.
All right, okay. So yeah, apologies for last week. Firstly, it was the birthday hectic week, as it was my dad's, my brother-in-law's, and my nephew's birthday all in the same week. So we all ended up going out for a meal, and it fell around the time we normally do the show. So yeah, I do apologise. But I do have a small announcement, which is a bit more of a personal thing. But I'm very happy to say that Laura, my partner, and I are expecting our first child.
no way.
Yay!
Oh my gosh! Congratulations, Beans,
That was a round of applause.
Thank you.
and congrats to Laura too.
Thank you very much.
Holy
So,
shit! Dude.
yeah, very exciting, very scary.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
yeah, so that was kind of taken up most of the week.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we did know it before.
Well.
Yeah, it wasn't just absolutely. No, we went for the. Laura had the scan on Monday, so she just wanted to make sure everything was okay before we just made any announcement and stuff. So everything's looking good. So yeah, so we're expecting a little bundle of joy on the 14th of September.
Cool.
Wow! Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
Mini beans.
So, yeah, baby beans. So yeah, now I've got the panic of making sure that all these objects that I see in the house that have got sharp, pointy objects don't
Baby proof.
have sharp and pointy objects on them.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the corner of every unit and I don't know. Everything I'm looking at the minute just looks like a threat. So yeah, I'm completely paranoid. All the bits and bobs I wanted to get done for the house. You now think, great, I've got a very short timetable to get them done, and they're probably not all going to get done. But there we go. So yeah. Bradley's joining us in the chat. Sorry.
So you need to make sure, obviously, when it's born, it's a wrestling fan.
Well, yeah, and then I'm having nightmares already of this child being a massive John Cena fan. But I'm hoping by the point of, by the time that they'll probably start to coherently understand wrestling, if they do become a fan, then Cena will be about 45, 46 at this point. And I know he will be, but he'll be kind of like the Hulk Hogan to us, kind of thing. He'll probably. I'm saying he. I'm guessing because on the scan it looked like I got a little wave and it looked like a boy. I don't know why.
Aw.
Even though you cannot tell at this point. But yeah. So I'll probably be highly disappointed that they're a massive Roman Reigns fan.
Start like just randomly singing Shawn Michaels theme around the house.
Honestly, if I will. I'll when the baby's a bit more developed, I'll be like putting headphones on Laura's belly at the theme music. And when it's born, it'll be standing at the end of the bed with the pyro and everything. But yeah.
Wow.
And then it could be a girl that likes wrestling as well, or it could be a girl and hates wrestling. But there we go. Never mind. We'll see what happens.
It's your job to change that.
Well, I believe so, but also Laura's going to have an influence there as well, and that depends on what she wants to do as well. She might have had enough. She might not be able to cope if she's outnumbered with wrestling in the house.
True.
So we'll see. But yeah, Bradley's joined us in the chat as well. Thank you very much. He's also sending congratulations. Thank you. So yes. So we've not been around for a couple of weeks. So we missed what would normally be our Fastlane review show. So obviously Fastlane's a little bit of old news now, but we will just go through very, very quickly just to have a look at our scores as well for the prediction. Apologies to Chucks because we obviously won't be doing it to the wonderful high standards that he normally sets for us, but we will just double check them scores and all get very angry as we find out how far ahead he is still. And then I don't know how much news that we've got over the last couple of weeks apart from a couple of tidbits from yesterday and a bit further on, but we'll be discussing those and also just having a look at how WrestleMania is shaping up because crazily is it 2 weeks away now? Or is it 3 weeks today?
It's 2 weeks. 2 weeks tomorrow. Isn't it? Well, yeah, it's now technically.
Yeah, that just seems insane to me. I can't believe it's been a year since I've been in Dallas now.
Bradley's rustling the papers for us.
Oh, thank you, Bradley. I've got. Oh, hang on. Oh, this is crud.
Yeah. Okay. No, there you go.
Yeah, well, that was basically the equivalent of like flicking through an encyclopedia rather than rustling papers. Never mind.
We should mention just a quick thanks to Bradley, by the way. He was going to step in last week and host the show with us. Yeah. But we didn't do it at all. So,
him and Ed.
Yeah, I know that Ed also mentioned as well.
Yeah, he did as well. Yeah.
So yeah, apologies, guys. It all kind of went a little bit wrong. But yeah, never mind. We're back. That's the main thing. So Fastlane then. Can we? Oops, sorry, phone noise. My iPad's doing the usual thing where it's completely shut off and muted and silent, yet it still makes all noises. Does anyone else have an iPad?
Yeah.
Does that happen to you?
Yeah.
Why does it do that?
Well, this is when you've got, just going slightly off topic here, I've got an Apple Watch and a MacBook. You get one text message and 4 devices making noise.
Yeah, but if you turned all them devices off, why are they still making noises?
Well, exactly, yeah.
Come on, Apple, sort your act out. Also as well, Bradley did send a question 3 weeks ago for the show, and I forgot on the last one that we did do, and he said he were going to hold me to the question, so I do have it for this week's show, and it's still relevant to ask. So, Don't think I forgot, Bradley.
Okay.
But yes, so Fastlane. I can't even remember half the things that happened, but let's have a quick look. So I'll just go along in the order that we did it when we made the predictions. So the first match was Rich Swann and Tozawa facing Brian Kendrick and Noam Dar on the pre-show. Basically, Smoot, Chucks, and Will got all the points on that one, and I didn't because I picked Kendrick. Woohoo! I can't really remember much from the match, to be honest, so I don't know if there was any talking points. Just shout in if there's anything you want to say about these. Next one we had was Sami Zayn versus Samoa Joe. We all picked Samoa Joe, and we were all right, so we got a point on that one. The next one was Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax. Smoot and Chucks picked Nia Jax to win this. Me and Will picked Sasha, so we got a point. Then we had the Women's Championship match. Bayley defending against Charlotte. We all picked Charlotte to win, and of course Bayley retained. And I suppose we'll get back to that. So we didn't get any points on that one. Gallows and Anderson defended the tag titles against Enzo and Cass. We all picked the club to win, and they did, so we all got a point. Neville defended the Cruiserweight Championship against Jack Gallagher. Neville retained. We all got that one right.
I think that was the best match of the night, by the way.
Yeah, actually, you're right, because I remember saying the same thing at the end of it, going, wow.
I wasn't expecting it to be either, but yeah.
Yeah, it was a good match. And a show that wasn't hitting all cylinders, I don't think.
Yeah, it wasn't a great show.
Next one we had was Roman Reigns facing... do you know, I nearly said Roman Strowman.
Roman Strowman. Yeah.
Oh, dear, you can tell I'm tired tonight. Roman Strowman. And unfortunately, Roman Strowman lost to Braun Reigns. And then we had the main event. Kevin Owens versus Goldberg for the Universal Championship. And as Chuck said, Big Bill won. So, the scores as it stands. Smoot, do you want to do this bit? As I know you...
Well, I'm in last place, as you can see.
Oh, yeah! Wow!
Yeah.
I'm happy.
I'm in last by 2 points.
I thought I did pretty poor in this one, but I didn't do too bad.
I caught up by 1 point, but I'm still in last place.
I thought I was in last.
You're in third. Will's in second, and Chuck's, who's probably gonna hit break 100 actually with 94. 94 points there.
Hang on a minute. If you were heading into it with 57 points, and you got 6, shouldn't be on 62.
No.
No. 57 and 6 is 63.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I've just written... No, never mind.
You're trying to rob me of a point. I see how it is. You're trying to make sure I stay in last.
I don't know what you're on about. I've just got to point out Bradley's comment in the chat. I have a WWE Apple laptop. It's a Shane O'Mac.
Nice. Nice.
That's in honor of Chucks, who I think would highly appreciate that pun. And yeah, Bradley said beans can't math. I know.
We need the comedy drums effect there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think main talking points was that, what the hell? I'm just looking at the stream and magically I've just seen the TNA owl.
Sorry, yeah.
I was actually, the trouble is, the only reason why I noticed is because I was trying to read the spreadsheet.
Oh, sorry.
It's alright.
I can put it back up there for a sec. Hold on.
It's alright. So yeah, I think the main talking points from Fastlane was obviously the main event with the title change, and also Charlotte's pay-per-view streak coming to an end.
Yeah, that was really surprising. There's also 2 matches that were unannounced. It was like, what was it? Cesaro versus somebody, and Rusev versus Big Show.
Was it Jinder Mahal and Cesaro?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Ginger Mahal.
Ginger.
Ginger Mahal.
Wow.
Rusev Big Show went on way too long.
It did.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Rusev is now out of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
As he had to have surgery, which I think I heard a show where they said that they spoke to Big Show, and I think it was known before the match at Fastlane, and that was the reason why Big Show beat him quite decisively.
Mm, okay.
Because it was a little bit strange. And the thing that really annoyed me about this event as well was the Roman Reigns win over Strowman.
Mm.
Because what's Strowman done since?
Not much. Not much.
Well,
He,
he didn't nearly kill him on Raw.
oh, yeah, but yeah, sorry, I forgot that bit. But I don't know, I was really annoyed that I think they could have still had that result if there was like a screw job involved or an interference. And I know they were going to do that in the main event for the title,
Mm.
but I just didn't think that Strowman should have been defeated a couple of weeks before WrestleMania when they've done such a good job over the last 6 months to build him up.
Yeah.
And it was decisive. It wasn't even, there was no controversy to it. I don't think he looked particularly strong. I know that he has to lose at some point, but surely if he has to lose, you do that at Mania and you give someone a push from it. And I don't know, I just thought WWE was a bit naive in going with the Roman Reigns needing the push going into Mania against Undertaker.
Well, the reports are to be believed. They're going with the push again, aren't they, to get him to be the next Cena? Which, surely, first time round, tell them that didn't work.
No.
But, it's just WWE for you.
Yeah, I mean, Bradley said it in the chat as well. As for Strowman, what's he got now for Mania? The Battle Royal. Did they want to build a Strowman? Oh, they built a stroller. But yeah, I mean, Bradley's expressed his frustration, saying I think he thought that it was dumb moves from WWE for Fastlane. Owens and Jericho should be for the Universal title. The women's triple threat could have worked with Charlotte as the champion. And then you could have had Bayley or Sasha breaking the streak at Mania, which is true. I mean, it did seem like everything that you kind of think would naturally be formed for Mania did go out the window at Fastlane.
Just like history in TNA.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bradley's just had to inform me that was a Frozen pun. I'm sorry, Bradley. As you know from my maths ability tonight, that I'm unable to understand these things. That's my excuse. Also, just a couple of things. We did a few bonus questions as well. Will Undertaker show up? Me and Smoot said no. I don't know what Chuck said. He said yes and no. But he didn't show up. Goldberg and Owens last longer than 5 minutes. You all said yes, apart from me. I should get a bonus point for that. Will Jericho show up? We all said yes, apart from Smoot. Smoot should have a point deducted for that. And do we get Seth Rollins at Fastlane? We all said no, and he didn't show up, but he did show up on Raw.
There you go.
So yeah, that was pretty much Fastlane. So Chucks has pretty much won this. Mind you, though, we're saying this. WrestleMania 33 is building up to have about 25 matches on the card at the minute, so there's a good chance that there's a mathematical possibility that one of us could take the lead. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, we'll be looking at WrestleMania a little bit further as we move forward. First off, before we go through some of the segments, there's a couple of bits of news. There was the unfortunate event on Twitter yesterday, which was regarding Paige. Don't know if you guys have seen this.
You had to tell me about it because I'm so behind on social media here lately.
Yeah.
I've not seen it, if you know what I mean, but I've heard about it.
Right, yeah. Okay. That was a poor choice of me questioning you, sorry. But yeah, unfortunately, some images and videos of Paige was illegally leaked onto the internet. So it's just one of them situations where I suppose it's kind of like the old Seth Rollins thing.
Yeah.
Not to that degree, but but it's a similar kind of thing. So I don't know. I worry a little bit about it because I mean, obviously, it feels like the situation between WWE and Paige is already quite tense as it is. So these kind of issues obviously can't help matters, but also if it's done out of a control, then you can't really hold it against her. But yeah, it's an unfortunate thing that's happening. I'm not quite sure whether it's going to have any effect on others as well, because I believe, well, Brad Maddox isn't around, but I believe in one of the images also Xavier Woods was involved. So yeah, not particularly good.
Were they on the sex tape or?
I believe so.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to go into it too much because it is supposed, at the end of the day, these things it is supposed to be in their own lives, not supposed to be plastered all over the internet. But yeah, it isn't particularly good for Xavier Woods, seeing as I believe he's expecting a child with his wife or fiance, I believe, and yeah. I don't know. It's just, I mean, we don't know how old the images are either.
True.
So, this might be way before anything or, whatever. And it isn't really any of our business, I suppose. But
yeah,
it's, it's just unfortunate. So kind of hope that everything just doesn't really affect people's positions and jobs and everything kind of sorts themselves out. And it doesn't.
My timeline's still on like the 15th. So I'm seeing like news stories about how Paige just got her Instagram back. So I'm wondering if that has like any sort of correlation with this incident here.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd heard on some other reports as well saying that it wasn't actually Paige's accounts and things that were hacked or something. It was actually Brad Maddox's or something. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like I say, it's all speculation, and it's none of it's pretty. So, yeah, we'll leave that one there. Moving on to something that's a bit lighter. WWE decided to unleash Southpaw Regional Wrestling this week.
Oh my god!
Which we managed to get Smoot to watch the first episode before we came on air, and.
What's the point? Like, I don't get it.
It's an advert for KFC.
I guess. If you want to even stretch it, but like... I don't know. It...
Well, it's better than Enzo trying to fuck a chicken.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I'll give you that.
I don't know what it was, but there was something about the way you tried to say that.
Like, I know it's satire and all, but still.
I think it's good. It's a spoof. It is what it is. It's a bit of fun.
Now, I've only seen one episode, and I'm horrified to find that there's actually another 3 episodes, and I've not seen them yet.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I think it'll be immediate viewing when we're finished on the air tonight. But
apparently it spawns from something that they do backstage just to pass the time. And someone somewhere has seen this and thought it was funny and thought it would make a good video. So I think it's a bit of fun.
Ed just said Redneck Rusev is a must-see.
Yeah.
Just the fact that you've said Redneck Rusev, I'm already in. Yeah, I love Jericho doing like a Mean Gene impression. But yeah. Is there any chance that plays into Monday night coming up as well, where Jericho said that he's going to interview the real Kevin Owens?
No, I don't think so.
It'd be good though. Um,
It's the best thing Fandango's ever done.
Yeah.
Ever.
and he nearly hit the top of the iTunes chart once as well. That's how amazing this is. But yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? It's like, how much was it WWE and how much was it just the guys in the back kind of thing?
I think a lot of it is just the guys in the back, from what I've gathered.
Because if it is WWE, I'm quite disappointed that they've managed to really kind of mess up a lot of storylines and logical booking, yet they're able to produce this.
Apparently, is it Gallows is the Tex Ferguson? Apparently that's something he's done for years backstage.
Really?
I
Yeah.
love it.
Apparently
That's
there's I've not seen it myself, but if you look around on YouTube, there's some videos of him doing it, and it's not PG. I think they actually called it Sex Ferguson.
Oh God.
But yeah, apparently he's done that for years, and it's sort of spawned from that.
But also, as well, if this is what just the guys have done,
Yeah.
and you can see how popular this is with the fan base, why does it not give WWE the encouragement to just loosen up a little bit with guys on promos and direction and actually involve them?
Yeah.
Have they ever thought of, like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm saying things that might already happen, but, you know, before you do a show, why doesn't everyone get to an arena early one time and you do a big spitball session with everyone and they can all put things forward that they'd like to do? And discussions take place. Instead of when you turn up to the arena, someone hands you a script and says, this is what's happening tonight, and then 20 minutes before the show goes live, someone decides to change it. Why isn't the big discussions taking place and they actually work with the talent to see what ideas they come up with? Rather than forcing talent to question whether they should approach staff about what they could do and what they can't do.
Well, wasn't that, I'm going way back now, wasn't that how the Cena character came about? He was seen just rapping or doing some freestyle stuff backstage.
Yeah, he said he was doing it on the back of a coach on I think it was the European tour.
That's it, yeah, he said he's on a bus in the UK, yeah, that's it.
And he just said that, you know, it got heard and someone said, do you think you can run with it? And then he'd started doing it.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's great, that's fine. But shouldn't you be questioning the fact that you've now got one of the biggest superstars of all time in John Cena, and his break was because someone heard him on a bus? Not the fact that someone approached him to possibly ask what he might like to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I mean, we're only talking from the outside looking in. You know, it's not. We don't know whether the opportunities are there and how it all works to, you know, to the degrees backstage. But there's got to be some way of being able to get talent to get their own ideas. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at. Yeah,
it was just the picture of Fandango with his head on the desk.
We're holding up the piece of paper.
Yeah.
So Ed's just said also as well, just about everyone involved in Southpaw regional wrestling has done goofball stuff on TV before.
Tell you what, if you look quickly at that Cena there, I know it's supposed to be, but it is a complete rip of Vince.
It really is. The jacket is definitely Vince's. I'm sure he borrowed that off him. But the thing is you can imagine Vince behind the camera laughing his head off at it.
Oh yeah, he's probably loving it. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And you're thinking, why can't you be like that about everything else? Instead of, like, you know, if you can tell that, surely, like they said, there's a lot of people backstage now that need to have things written for them. And you would strike me as someone like Apollo Crews. He doesn't appear to be the most confident person. He needs time to get confident on TV. The best things that he's done has been on Talking Smack when he's been a little bit more natural. But even then, you can tell that he's more just having a conversation rather than trying to project himself. So if you've tried a few different things with him and you're thinking, yeah, he's not, it doesn't look like it's working that well for him, then obviously he does need direction and he does need promos and he does need a bit of a script to go through things. But if you've got someone that you can see clearly can do their own promo, you just get their ideas, because obviously there's a charisma within that person naturally. And if you have an idea for a story and then sit with them and say, this is what we're hoping to do, what do you think would be the best steps and how do you think you would do it if this is your character? Then you get things like the New Day.
Yeah.
Where they, once you've done something and they trust you, they'll let you go out and do what you need to do. And ultimately fans will enjoy it because it feels natural and it doesn't feel forced.
Yeah, no, but you're absolutely right.
Anyway, sorry, I'll get off my soapbox about
creative. It's fine. It's fine.
But yeah, I like I say, I mean, and there's no right and wrong. It's one of them. It's confidence with people, but I just think sometimes that they just force certain things, and it just could be avoided. I think. Anyway.
I think it's a good sign though that it's on a YouTube video, but I think it is a bit of a sign that maybe they are opening up a little bit to letting them do things. Because I think if you think about 5-10 years ago, that this wouldn't have happened. They wouldn't allow it to happen.
Yeah, true. So. And I think shows like Talking Smack as well.
Yeah.
Has really helped, because I mean, like, you think Baron Corbin, like, anytime he came on TV, it was just like, oh wow, really? Yeah. And it just felt like the long, boring, monotonous script. And then every time he went on Talking Smack, he was just a guy like, I'm here to get paid and I'll beat people up. You need me. And it was just like there was an arrogance because it's that same old thing of he's being himself, but he's turning the character up a bit. And it just comes across, he's a natural heel there, and it works. And he slowly started to bring that in on his SmackDown promos as well, because now he's starting to come across a lot more believable in his promos, I think, on TV. And it feels more like the Talking Smack character coming through.
Yeah, definitely.
Ed in the chat, when did Miz get to the point that WWE allowed him to be more organic and real, even in the Hollywood personality?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It is a good one, because he's... I mean, the actual storyline we've seen, it works at the minute, and it's garnered so much interest because there's so much element of reality in it. Because when he did arrive, he did everything for the company, and he wasn't very well liked. And now, I think it is more the media stuff that he's done outside of WWE, or even promoting WWE. I think he's become more confident in what he's saying. And it's just a confidence that's built up over time with him, I think. I don't know exactly what point WWE allowed him to start saying a little bit more what he wanted, but even when you think, really, probably a lot of it is more only in the last, since this time last year when Maurice came back, I think, is when he has kind of come into his own again a little bit. But, I don't know. It is an interesting thought, though, when that actually started to become a thing. But, yeah, I don't know. So, what else do we have? So we've had Southpaw Regional Wrestling, and then we also have some news, I believe, on the Hardys.
Oh, yeah. We didn't get to it, again, because of last week. But apparently, here, let me try to find this here. Apparently they're like the Hardys are having some sort of legal dispute, possibly, allegedly, I should say, because It seems that TNA, or I should say Impact Wrestling, is not going to let them use the broken gimmick in other organizations, because in Ring of Honor, the Hardys won the tag titles, and Impact threatened to sue the TV stations that tried to air it. Rebby Hardy apparently had some sort of long Twitter rant that I'm trying to pull up at the moment here.
Well, when the Hardys won the titles in Ring of Honor, was he still doing the broken Hardy gimmick?
They still had the they still had like the makeup, the outfits, costumes, and all that. Yeah, here I can bring up a live shot of, this was from the 10th, with Rebby saying "fuck you guys" at Ed Nordholm, Real Jeff Jarrett, and Impact Wrestling. More than happy to play this game. Can we talk about how many times Matt's contract could have been broken due to numerous issues on TNA's end, and never made a fuss about shit? But motherfuckers want to try to come at us now after the fact. Don't you have an owl to promote or some shit? I don't know. A company to, quote, make great instead of acting like the petty little bitches you are. Speaking of petty, nice video package on TNA's history with no visual or mention of Jeff, who gave his all for 7 years, or Kurt. But y'all sure have made sure to get those 2 video ID shoots of Jeff Jarrett in there. But it's just business, brother, right? Petty. Everything these boys have done for the company, and you want to try and fuck us for the sake of it. Literally no other reason except you mad. How about my husband leaving me a day after giving birth to make your TV tapings? That's how dedicated this motherfucker was to the company. How about the 3 highest rated TV segments of 2016 were financed by Hardys solely to help the product and because they believed in TNA? Or all the shit talking by Jeff Jarrett throughout the contract negotiations, and Matt was still there, professional and trying to make things work for 2017. Oh, and this is the best part. These MFers trying to come after Senor Benjamin. I can't. Senor Benjamin, my dad, by the way, who was never paid a dime by the company and who was obviously never under contract. Not that those contract things mean anything to TNA until after they're over or 3 days before they expire, apparently. Funny thing is, everyone who ever actually had anything to do with broken Matt Hardy has our back on this. What does that say to you? Damn near 20% of your roster leaving in the span of a week, all citing the same reasons or none at all. What does that tell you? And the fake-ass wishing you well tweet from Ed Nordholm, mere hours before threatening to sue us. Such a fitting end, man. Seriously, you couldn't write this shit. Well, TNA couldn't write this shit. Any writers worth of shit left too. Laughing emoji. Real cute how TNA can go radio silent for weeks with the exception of nonsensical drunk text from Jeff Jarrett, but we get a 2-hour deadline to respond. Fuck you think that this is? Taken? I can't. Good luck explaining to your talent that their paychecks are late again because you're spending all your money suing the Hardys. And fuck that owl. Which, that happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did she not bring out a T-shirt as well?
Yes.
I've seen
yes.
a T-shirt, yeah.
That's what I'm trying to pull up as well, real quick.
T-shirt's by cover too.
Yeah. So basically that happened. Is TNA kind of just turned their backs on the Hardys.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck that owl.
If I was someone that was friends with Rebby, I'd probably suggest that she's very accurate in what she's saying, but might want to have worded it in a slightly different way. But then again, if you need to vent, you need to vent. Wow, there's actually a T-shirt that says "Fuck that owl."
Yes. Yes.
That is amazing.
In the style of the Empire logo as well.
Yes.
Wow. Um, Also, Bradley sent a question in a while back about the owl, I think, or he was made a comment about the owl. Where I believe they did not do a competition where they was naming the owl.
I think
Really?
they were at some point. Yeah. I
Um,
just thought its name was Anthem.
Yeah, that was
Anthem
Oh,
the
Bradley
Owl.
sent us a tweet a while back saying TNA are having a name the owl competition. Fabulous Hula is a strong contender,
Oh
though
God.
Owl Snow is also good.
Depends on the gender, I would say.
Hmm. Um. So yeah, so that's a lot of things that's happening.
Yeah.
Now I've heard that, and I don't know how true it is because again this is only things that I've seen online. But I believe obviously the Hardys won the tag titles in Ring of Honor, but I believe that they're scheduled to face the Young Bucks on WrestleMania weekend in a rematch, and I believe their contract is only a short-term contract for April with Ring of Honor. So there is a potential that the Hardys could be signing with the WWE and they could appear from basically after WrestleMania. Depending on whether, obviously, that's happening and also they lose the titles. Bradley's also just suggested a new one of the Who Day.
And something more recent here is, if I can bring this back up, is Reby saying, I suggest those who don't know the first thing about image releases in television refrain from commenting on what isn't right. It's past a matter of opinion at this point. It comes down to law, something we never had to worry about till TNA brought it into things. They want to get legal and specific, we can get legal and specific. That's what it comes down to. Sad, but that's what we're forced to do. From now on, someone will be speaking for us regarding this ridiculous situation we've been put in, and not on Twitter. Thanks for the support. So it definitely seems like there's some sort of legal turmoil brewing between TNA and the Hardys, and I don't know. I know TNA is the little wrestling company that could, and it's been through a lot of bullshit. But I don't know if they can handle a legal battle at this moment, you know?
No. And it just seems amazing to me that you think, like, the conversations we was having about TNA,
Yeah.
you know, what, about 18 months ago, where we were all dead set saying that this is it, it's the end,
Yes.
there's no way of them coming back.
Yeah.
And then magically, they managed to survive, but they also managed to get a bloody good gimmick in Matt Hardy doing the broken thing. And it created interest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it wasn't a talk every week about, you know, what ridiculous things has Impact done.
And the thing is,
was
the thing about this is all this could have been avoided if TNA would just re-sign them. That's the real, brass tacks about this.
Do you think there might be something in that if they do go to WWE? Then obviously WWE got the money to pay for the lawyers.
Yeah, that's interesting. If they have like enough legal pull in WWE.
Exactly. Yeah.
They could do. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it wouldn't work very well because people would want to see it. But at the end of the day, they could bring the Hardys back and they could just be the Hardy Boys again. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not
right.
It's not what people would probably want to see, but it's still an option for them. If you know what I mean. If it just means, rather than dealing with all that, they just give it up. And I mean, I don't even know what's TNA hoping to get out of it.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, what are you trying to prove here? Is it really worth it? Which case, no, it's not worth it, by the way. But Are you really
I
trying
just
to?
don't get it because it's like, what? So you win a legal battle and then what? You own the rights to a gimmick about broken Matt Hardy,
Yeah.
but you haven't got Matt Hardy anymore because he's left.
Yeah, like it makes no sense to fucking put this into court. You know, like it's. I don't know.
I think Bradley's just sent us a tweet saying TNA's lawyer, and I believe it's an image of an owl. Wow.
Fuck that owl.
Do you think there might be as well? I mean, this might be going a bit off on one a bit, but do you think WWE might be interested in getting involved in this so that
No,
the
absolutely not. This is not WWE's fight to.
No, I don't mean that, but if they get the Hardys on board and they take on the case to see off TNA once and for all.
Oh, I don't know. If you somehow get WWE's lawyers involved, I'm pretty sure TNA would back down.
Suppose so.
Yeah, it could happen. Ed's just said as well, I think fans would reject the notion of Matt and Jeff returning as just the Hardy Boys. It'd be like when WWE tried pushing a returning Batista in a certain way.
Or yeah, I was gonna say a lot of people were expecting Bully Ray instead of Bubba Ray.
Yeah, true. I mean, it could be, but also as well, I mean, you're starting to question the TNA thing in general again. Like, is it, they're losing the talent again. There's financial turmoil. They might be losing their ability to be on a network again.
Yeah.
It's just like, you're reaching that same point again. And does WWE, if they bring in the Hardys as the Hardy Boys for the meantime, just wait until TNA crumbles and then they can start doing the broken gimmick in WWE?
I don't know. And honestly, it kind of goes back to, Gallows and Anderson, in a way, with their, being the funniest guys on the roster, doing their little spiel with the Southpaw wrestling gimmick. Why can't that be on TV for WWE? Because WWE doesn't let that happen, Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of a similar situation here with the Broken Hardy gimmick.
Bradley and Ed are having a conversation in the chat as well, which kind of makes a bit more sense. He said that might be that TNA want a proportion of their revenue sales. It's the only way that it makes sense for them to be challenging it. Ed then responded with, if I was Vince, I'd buy TNA off.
Well, you should have bought TNA off like way, way long ago.
I mean, I can understand it. If you're going to release a lot of merchandise, then I suppose there is the money side of it, which we all know TNA is requiring funding. So there's that aspect of it. But also, is it something they're actually going to be able to win?
No. And honestly, the merchandise sales, I mean, that doesn't make sense either, because TNA still has like a backlog of Hulk Hogan, Sting merchandise that they still can't get rid of. So TNA would be, I don't know, if they just would have let the Hardys go into the sunset. If they offered a contract saying, hey, would you like to resign with us or be gone, and they just chose to leave TNA, that should have been it. That should have been it. Let them take the broken gimmick with them. There's if you were trying to retain the trademark of it, you'd be stuck with just a broken merchandise that would be sitting in a warehouse somewhere.
Perhaps they just think that even if they've left, people will still see the place to buy their stuff as from TNA, and they can make the money. I don't know. It does seem to be getting it's a bit convoluted, really. I suppose we'll know more in the coming weeks, especially around WrestleMania weekend, because, I'd imagine that if they are coming back around the weekend, you normally end up getting leaks online and things that'll start spoiling it. So I don't think it'll be too long before we find out a little bit more of what direction they're actually going to go with it. But yeah, we'll see what happens. It, do you think that WWE will allow the broken gimmick to be used in WWE, even if they didn't have any restrictions?
I don't know. It depends on how much Triple H and Vince McMahon like it. I mean, honestly, it comes down to those two.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking certain aspects of it might not fit under the PG remit, so they might have to change certain things. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah. By the way, that was a brief look at all the, like I said, the Sting merchandise that you can still get.
Yeah. We'll finish it off with another one of Bradley's wonderful comments. Sounds like TNA has a irritable owl syndrome.
Oh my god. Bradley's definitely making up for the puns since Chuck's isn't here.
He just said that. Chuck's ain't here. Someone needs to do the puns. So thank you very much, Bradley. It feels like Chuck's is here in spirit. So that's the Hardy situation. So let's just have a quick look at a few things that have happened in the last couple of weeks with regards to angles and things. The Big Show was announced to be in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which sounds like now his match with Shaquille O'Neal is off the table. Is anyone bothered?
No.
I mean, if it's not Shaq versus, I almost said Shaq again. If it's not Shaq versus Big Show, I mean that's one match that I had no, interest in seeing. So now it moves on to a battle royal, which I think the Big Show's just going to be filler in. He's just going to be like the typical big guy in it, and then somebody's going to. I think maybe Strowman will probably eliminate him.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a particular interest in seeing Big Show and Shaq as such, but the one thing that I find a little bit sad is we all know Big Show's made massive efforts in the last 12 months to improve his health, and we're under the assumption that he did this purposely for this match to put on a showcase. And if he's been working towards it as a goal and then it's been pulled out at last second, it does feel, a bit of a shame, really. And the other aspect is there's so many matches for this year's WrestleMania.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I mean, it was a 7-hour show last year because matches overrun.
Yes. It seems like it's going to be the same this year, possibly.
It could be more. You could be looking at an 8-hour show.
Woo!
And I don't know. It just either that or the show won't be that long, but matches just won't get time.
Yeah.
And then you're just going to get a very rushed feel Mania, which is a bit of a shame. So, I don't know.
Ed's asking if did you see his questions? See his question to the show.
I believe I have. Yes.
Okay.
Which I'll move on to now because he's mentioned it. Where is Luke Harper? Is he knocking back Bruce with Chucks? I actually earlier today I was listening to Gorilla Position, the UK-based podcast, and they actually interviewed Luke Harper, and they interviewed him not long after the match with AJ, and he ain't happy about that. Because he really had a feeling that he might be able to get involved in the main event as a triple threat. And he feels that he's been in a position to do more, a lot. And the opportunities kind of passed him by. And he was really articulate, came across really well, understood the business from... he just sounded like he understood the business side of it and what would be right, what would be wrong. And... yeah, it's a real shame because, I mean, we all called the Battle Royal thing where you could clearly tell that AJ landed first. And we all know that if, we were to go off what we saw, Luke Harper won that match.
Mhm.
And if you were going to do someone beating up Shane, why weren't it Luke Harper?
Because AJ needs a match at WrestleMania.
Well, he does.
Unfortunately, it's looking to be AJ versus Shane, which is a waste of AJ Styles. No disrespect to Shane McMahon, who I think is, a phenomenal athlete for, leaping off of structures that I would never fucking jump off of. But, like, I'm not feeling it. I think AJ kind of deserves better than someone who is just basically a glorified stunt person. Not to sound like Ric Flair or anything like that on Mick Foley, but
Woo!
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a bit worried because all I can see for Luke Harper is that Battle Royal again, because that's just the standard where if you ain't got a match, you're going to be in that, and the match is probably going to be about 8 or 9 minutes long, which means you're probably going to be in the ring for about 30 seconds. You ain't going to get an entrance. You're going to get chucked out by Strowman probably. It just, it's one of those. But yeah, the other side of the coin, like you said, was Shane McMahon is now going to be facing AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Now,
last year it was Jericho, so I mean that's in a way another part-timer.
I think that's a bit harsh, though.
Well, at the time, people thought Jericho was just going to be a part-timer because, like, people speculated that he would have left soon after that.
Yeah.
I see it coming from you.
Yeah, I can see that. See, the thing is I think this is going to be a bit of a pleasant surprise, this match.
I think it'll be good, yeah. I'm not as against it as most people seem to be.
Yeah, like Bradley just mentioned so much for the 6-star match that WWE wanted, which there's that aspect to it. I think if AJ had come onto the roster about 5-6 years ago, I wouldn't have as big a problem with this match. Right. I think it is purely just because this is taking place when AJ Styles is 38 now. And that you're thinking probably only got about 4 or 5 manias in him, if for high standards.
Yeah.
And you're thinking you want them classic matches. You just want, and especially with the story that because of the match from Japan at Wrestle Kingdom, they wanted to emulate that for WrestleMania and have their own 5-star match. So the fact that you just taken the most talented, gifted guy on the roster and you've put it to Shane McMahon, from a wrestling standpoint, it's disappointing. But also, I think he even mentioned it in one of the interviews, was even though people sound disappointed with it, to be picked to face Shane McMahon in itself is an honor by WWE. It sounds a little bit, you think, really, but they've chosen him to have that because they see that as a main event match, even though it isn't, it's not what you would think of as a main event. And I thought that they did really well on SmackDown, starting it off with the attack backstage.
Yeah, I thought so.
And then they decided to ruin it by sticking a camera in the corner
inside the car.
Of the car.
Oh,
yeah.
For an action replay shot of Shane's head coming through the window. Like, really?
That should have been saved for, like, B-roll for the video packages that you see, like, building up to the match. Like, that should have been a B-roll moment, not on the show. Because
it shouldn't even exist. The only way that should exist is you should have had the car behind should have had, like, a dash cam.
No,
that would have been looking at the back car.
That's even more preposterous.
No, but I mean, like, try and think. Why would there be a camera in the back seat of a car?
No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Like, it shouldn't. there shouldn't have been a camera there. But like, if you were going to have like that type of a shot, like an action shot or a replay or whatever, don't air it immediately on the same show. Save it for, you know, a B-roll, for a video package for Mania, for like hyping up the next week's show of SmackDown. You know, don't do it on the same exact program.
Yeah. I just, it just brings me back to like the creative thing where I just feel like, why isn't there someone there saying, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Like, what did it really enhance?
Yeah.
It just took you out of the moment because you thought, why has that happened? Why was there a camera there? Why have you so quickly got that footage?
Yeah.
Why is it being played straight away?
Yeah. Like, I thought the blood from Shane was a great touch. Because he got legit busted open from the glass.
Yeah, Ed said, guys, what about doing the camera shot like when Brock attacked Dean in the parking lot, the security cam style footage? That would have been fine. That's what I was saying. There was a car directly behind, and we know now a lot of people have cameras on the dash for when they're driving in case any incidents happen. You could have had footage from that they could have got at a later date as a different camera angle of it happening. You wouldn't have seen it the same way that you did from inside the car. But even so, it just, anything that you could have done where I would have believed that it happened. So, you know, it could have happened. Not, this is a completely staged thing. We all know it is, but don't tell me that. Try and make it look like it isn't.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, it did look. It was too obvious.
Yeah. Ed said the only camera that logically should have been there was the cameraman who was there with AJ while he was waiting for Shane, the main footage, which is fine. So yeah, that just frustrated me a bit. But I think the interaction between the two when they was having the scrap and everything, you know, it was quite brutal. It was well done. I think it's going to be seen a lot better than the Shane and Undertaker match, just because, you know, Undertaker's reached that point now where I think he needs someone like an AJ Styles that can guide him through it and make him look good and keep him as the big monster guy in the match, whereas Shane can't really do that aspect of it.
Yeah.
He's in the same position as what Undertaker was, and he needs that someone to guide him, and AJ will guide him through this match.
Yes.
So I think the match itself will probably be one of those that afterwards will be all like, that was actually quite entertaining. It might not be your 5-star wrestling classic, but I think it's going to be along the lines of the HBK and Vince McMahon match back at WrestleMania 22, where at the time I was thinking it going to my first Mania, thinking I really wanted to see a Shawn Michaels wrestling clinic, and I'm watching him face Vince McMahon, but I still enjoyed the hell out of it. So, you know, I think it's going to be one of those. But like I say, I do think with AJ, you know, he could have a very long career still in WWE. But when you think of best years, you want him to be having these classic matches. So I'm hoping that, you know, he'll do this year, but I'm hoping next year he'll be, you know, he'll be getting a prime spot and hopefully a main event spot there.
I thought the ending of SmackDown was quite well done. Where he was stumbling through the gorilla and came out to announce the match.
I think they could have just done that after the match, rather than interfere the match with the backstage stuff with him walking through and things, because you just didn't care about the match. You just was kind of...
I think that was because the show was finishing, wasn't it? So they were trying to keep people interested.
Yeah.
And obviously it was literally the last thing on the show, wasn't it? Where he said he was gonna an opponent.
Yeah. No, it was a good moment, and yeah, it worked. I just like say, I think the camera thing had annoyed me to that point because it was.
Yeah.
I always kind of think back to when I was younger, and you remember when they did the Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie getting thrown in the dumpster off the stage, like that Raw. Like when that happened, that stopped Raw for about 45 minutes. And it was like a real event happened. Like all the wrestlers, no matter what they were, they all came running out to help. They had commentators talking really downbeat at ringside, like this could be the end of their careers and things like that. And I kind of got the feeling that they were trying to do the same thing with Shane, where it was like, oh, they replayed it so many times. They had the commentators talking quite seriously about it, and they kept cutting back to it. And I think I would have been quite happy with it if I hadn't seen the ridiculousness of that camera angle. Because it just highlighted this, how staged it was. It just, I don't know, it annoyed me a little bit. Ed also mentions there, by the way, nice to see that Jamie Noble was back on TV again this week.
Yeah.
Yes, I thought the same. Nice to see after, obviously, it was a stabbing last year that he was involved in. So we didn't really hear much after that, did we?
No, not really.
It kind of went very quiet on that one.
Yeah.
And shout out as well, Bradley said that he was at WrestleMania 22 as well for the Vince and Shawn Michaels match. Speaking of HBK, he made an appearance on Raw.
Yeah.
I was quite annoyed actually because I didn't get the chance to have my little bit of a pop surprise for him coming out because I was fast forwarding the adverts. And I'd fast forwarded a bit too fast and couldn't stop it. And then next minute, Shawn Michaels was in the ring, and I'm like, oh, okay. I had to rewind, and then obviously watched it. What do we think to the Roman Reigns and Undertaker build so far?
Has there been much of a build?
It's one of those where I like the fact. I mean, I like the line from Reigns where he said to Shawn that, no offense, but you couldn't beat him.
Yeah.
And he ended your career, and I'm gonna end his. So it was kind of oh, nice.
Yeah.
A bit more of the heel aspect of Roman Reigns again, but unfortunately, like you said, it just feels like we're quickly putting him back on that Super Cena train, aren't we?
Yeah.
Well, if I know we're jumping way ahead here, but if the story is to be believed, he's already in the main event at next year's Mania.
Yeah, I read somewhere. Apparently, that they're going to be doing the Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns match again.
Yeah.
Oh.
They basically want to try what they wanted to do last year, year before, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They're basically going to try that again. God knows why, but yeah.
It just. It's been what 4 years now. They're over it. We can do it now. No, you can't. The same argument stands. So yeah, but yeah, there hasn't really been any build. Like you said, it's just literally been that promo and them looking at a sign again. And it's like that all worked well and good when it was Triple H and Undertaker because of the stature and the history between the careers. But when it's Roman Reigns and Taker, and especially when Strowman does his little back off and running off into the crowd, it was a bit like,
That was it this year when Strowman attacked them on the ramp?
Yeah.
That was heavy, that.
Wow. Yeah, the way he landed was...
He knocked it out on the side of the railings as well.
Yeah.
He only caught that in the slow-mo, but yeah, I think he hit it a bit too hard there.
Yeah, he did land a bit awkwardly. Ed said in the chat, how about WWE announcing the Undertaker Roman Reigns match via Twitter?
Yeah, they did do that. That was a bit weird.
They did, yeah. Seems like Taker's more of a Raw guy than a SmackDown guy these days.
Yeah, seeing as he's not been on SmackDown since he said that SmackDown's his home.
Yeah.
And he's come back taking souls and digging holes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have 3 hours on Raw and couldn't fit something more official and interesting than a damn Twitter announcement.
I agree.
Very true, Ed.
I agree.
I think that they need to put Undertaker's career on the line in this.
Sure.
I think that way, then you got that little bit of intrigue in it. Because at the minute, I'm not there, and it doesn't grab me that much. It sounds awful, but after seeing Undertaker at the Rumble, I'm quite worried about what might happen at Mania with him.
Yeah.
And it seems to be the same every year, where everyone always questions his health and whether whether he can cope with a match, and
How bad
whether
is
it'll be
Undertaker dying this
acceptable.
week?
Say against me.
How bad is Undertaker dying this week?
Oh God.
It's our new game.
Oh God. But no, I think it was just at the Rumble, it did actually look like Undertaker was getting a bit older, if you know what I mean. Other times you keep thinking, yeah, he is, but then when he comes out, you think, no, he's still got it.
I don't know. I think he looked okay. Yeah, he looked older, but he is older.
Yeah, I know, and that's what I mean. But I think it was just the first time where I actually looked at it and I thought, yeah, it's starting to look that now. And
I don't think he's looked as bad as he did in Mania 30. He looked terrible then.
I don't think he's physical. I don't think physically. I mean, I don't want to say it because it sounds really disrespectful, but at Royal Rumble, he had a gut, and it was an older person's gut. It sounds awful because he's a legend, and we don't want to disrespect or anything like that. But it's just, I don't want him to tarnish his legacy either. And to be fair, when he came out on the Raw the other week and he chokeslammed Reigns, I think he looked a lot better then. And he'll probably look fantastic again come WrestleMania time. And maybe the Rumble thing was just, we've just got past Christmas. Ed's calling me awful now.
Christmas.
That's awful, being racist against all people's gods. Oh, I'm trying not to be. That isn't actually racist.
Oh, they want to fat.
No! Don't. Oh. If only Smoot could play sound bites again, I can hear that Scott Steiner shouting in his head.
He's fat!
But he might not be anymore. We just caught him in his Christmas lull. So, yeah, I don't know. I just don't want. I don't want it to be disappointing at Mania. I always remember when they did the thing with Bray Wyatt when he came back at WrestleMania 31 after the streak ended, and there was all question marks over it and everything. And I think the match was fine, and it didn't feel like he missed a beat. And obviously after the WrestleMania 30 match where he was concussed, it was, it wasn't a match that he was obviously happy with, and he went back. He went back to the usual Taker. So I just think that if the match is possible to be done at a high standard, and if they can put a stipulation in like Undertaker's career's on the line, I'm presuming they don't want Roman Reigns to win, but after recent news, they probably are. And I think it could work well if they plan to turn Roman Reigns heel. Because how much heat do you need if he ends? I mean, that's the only thing left, isn't it? I mean, the streak's over, but what if he can turn around and say that he retired The Undertaker?
Yeah.
And then if he doesn't beat Undertaker and Undertaker wins, that's fine. But at least it puts a bit of intrigue into the match. So, I don't know. What else did we have? We had the Seth Rollins segment on Raw, where he came out with his crutch again, doing his walk where you don't believe he's injured anymore. And then he dropped it. And then Triple H tried to make sure that he's actually hurt. What did we think to the segment? Because obviously it involved Triple H and Mick Foley as well.
Yeah. Is Mick Foley fired?
Is he fired?
That was my main takeaway. Is Mick Foley fired, or is Steph fired? Either or, because Mick Foley wanted to fire Stephanie. That was the whole point of that
Do you know what I think they should have done? I think that they all should have questioned what's the final, same thing, so what's happening here? Who's fired?
Yeah.
And then Jinder Mahal should come out going, well, come on, we need some answers. And then they just fired Jinder Mahal.
Jeez. Because of a wellness violation.
I thought he was going to fire Triple H, actually. When he was...
Mick should have just brought the whole house down. He should have just fired Vince.
So is it?
Didn't we do that once before?
Is it Triple H versus Seth Rollins? If Seth Rollins wins, Mick Foley's job is fine. Is that what it's going to be?
I don't know.
Possibly.
Ed's saying, can they just announce the match between Seth and Triple H? I think that they're now going to go down they're playing it up more again, aren't they? Because of obviously, I know it was a really good segment, and the way that he attacked, with the crutch on the knee. There's no doubt now that this match is happening. There's no way that they do that physicality in the ring, and he moves that freely, and he's not able to have a match. So I think they're going to probably go down the unsanctioned storyline route, like the Triple H Shawn match from SummerSlam in 2002. I think Seth will demand the match and he'll sign whatever. And then Triple H will be like, it's your own problem because I'm going to break your legs.
What have we got here? Oh. It's a gif of fat asses. That's what I just got linked to here. I don't know if we can get...
Excuse me.
Doesn't exist. For a brief moment, it was a gif there. So.
Are we excited to see Triple H and Seth?
No.
No?
Nah, I mean...
What needs the word excited?
Yeah, I'm not excited for it. I'm again, interested in seeing it, but at the same time, it's the same underdog versus the authority match that we've seen for years now.
True.
Oh, here we go.
And I suppose the only thing that's kind of there for WrestleMania as well is, where's Finn Balor?
He returned, didn't he, a house show?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's obviously ready. I think might see him on the Raw after Mania.
I think, as much as I think that that's a really good thing to do, I also feel sorry for him because he's missing out on WrestleMania when he's able to compete. And the thing that annoys me is if they turn around and say there wasn't enough time to build something, that can't be right, because you've got, you've got what, about, you could have done 3 Raws with him before the show.
Yeah.
So we've seen many pay-per-views that take place with 2-week gaps. I mean, all right, it's not ideal for Mania, but we've seen it before where, Triple H and Undertaker looked at each other and then stared at a sign, and that was a WrestleMania match. I mean, granted, there was a bit more behind it, but that was the basis of it. Yeah. And the other side of it is what are they going to do with Samoa Joe? I mean, they could do Balor and Joe having a match at Mania, which, if they hadn't had so many matches in NXT, I'd be quite happy with it.
I think you're going to see that at some point anyway. I think because they can go. So, I'm not saying it'll be anytime soon, but I think that's pretty much a guarantee that you're gonna see them in some sort of feud on Raw.
I suppose. Do you not just make Samoa Joe and... I mean, he even had the opportunity when Samoa Joe was beaten down on Raw and the crowd was chanting Balor.
Yeah.
Like, you're thinking it's going to happen. You're going to hear the music kicking and he's going to come out. No. Okay. And as much as, like you said, the Raw the night afterwards, it'd be a great moment. You'll be back on Raw. That's great. But what other things are they planning to do for that Raw? Because the strong rumor is that you're probably going to get Nakamura as well. And that's like, you're putting two big... You know what I mean? I mean, I know they like to space these things out. So what do? Do you delay Finn Balor even longer? Because if you remember, like with Gallows and Anderson, they didn't do it the night after Mania. They decided to wait for the following Raw, didn't they, with them before they actually debuted them on TV?
Yeah.
Ed said I'd buy a tag match with Balor and Seth versus Triple H and Joe at this point. See, the thing is that I'd agree, but the only thing is Balor also, the whole thing was he got injured by Seth.
That's true.
And although I know that they could probably just clear it up backstage where it's like, well, you know, these things happen and you didn't mean it or whatever, but Seth Rollins did sit there bragging about how he took him out. So, I don't know. It kind of goes a little bit against. And the thing is as well, when Balor comes back, I think the sole purpose he should be coming back is for that Universal title. And at the minute, you're talking about Goldberg and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. They just seem to have put themselves in the corner a little bit there. And I hope that they don't just take Balor off because they don't know what to do with him. So, anyway, I think that pretty much covers the main stories going into Mania. I'm sure there'll be a lot more. Let me just have a quick look because I've got Bradley's question I need to ask.
Yeah, go for it. Go ask. Yeah, read that.
Because if I forget that, Bradley will kill me. He's put, with Beth Phoenix and DDP going into the Hall of Fame this year, which other post-Attitude superstars deserve a spot?
The Headbangers.
That was rather quickly answered. Like you've been thinking about that.
No, I just threw that out there for the hell of it. China.
It's a good point.
Yeah, that'd be mine. And real quick, I don't know if you saw the Bring It to the Table show immediately after Raw.
No.
They brought up the story about how Brazzers is doing the Montreal Screwjob porn.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So now WWE doesn't really have an excuse about the whole, kids can Google her backstory and be exposed to all that stuff that she did. Yeah, that doesn't hold water now. Put her in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Ed suggested Los Boricuas.
Max Moon.
Let's not. Who could I say? I put the New Age Outlaws in.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Ed's also suggested Kid Cash. And also, Bradley's other question was, is it me or is the WrestleMania card looking a bit lackluster?
A little bit lackluster, yeah.
I think it's just one of them. It's like, I mean, obviously we've been talking about it throughout the show, but there's that many matches, but also you're just looking at all the combinations and they're just not I'm not saying that they're bad, but they're not ones that you would have picked. Like, building up to this Mania, we all had in our head, it's got to be Cena and Undertaker this year. We thought that the Lesnar and Goldberg rematch should be happening, that's fair enough. We were all thinking possibly AJ Styles and Randy Orton, because we were thinking that would be, at least a good match. There just seems to be an awful lot of options, and we've got things like Cena and Miz in a intergender tag match, and I don't know. It's very strange. I think it's building up a lot like the WrestleMania 31 card, because that was one where I looked at it and I thought, the matches just don't really jump out on me on this one. And then after the actual event finished, I thought, that's probably one of the better WrestleManias I can remember, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Ed's just quickly asked as well, is RVD almost at the point of being inducted as well?
Yes.
Which is a good one as well.
Yeah, that'd be a good pick. Real quick, and then I guess...
There was a rumor this week, actually, that it's been rebuffed, I think is the right word, but William Regal.
Yeah, he'd be another good one, yeah.
Certainly would. Real man's man. That man.
Yeah.
Such a man.
Real quick to go back to the TNA story with the Hardys here. Rebby earlier today tweeted out saying, update, TNA sent an absolutely laughable legal proposal in regards to trademark usage and ownership. We tried to play nice, truly, oh well. Fun facts, Senior Benjamin never signed one piece of paper stating TNA could ever use, broadcast, or profit from his image/likeness. Maxwell was never legally cleared to work / appear on camera. Want to check them TV child labor laws and get back to me, TNA? Nearly every notable attribute that makes Broken Matt Hardy was developed by Rebby herself in a Waffle House. Trying to prevent someone from legally making money is torturous interference of business and a huge offense. She filed the broken trademark when all the shady business from Jeff Jarrett and Anthem got back to her weeks before Matt's contract was up. If owning my husband was that important, why not file / apply? Oh, I don't know. Before his contract was up. Before you found out I did. How about every other former talent still working under their, quote, TNA name, end quote, and gimmick without issue? Wouldn't that look weird in court? Yeah. And the store I've been running for 5+ years, 100% by myself, with my original designs and my sole effort / investment. Yeah, they want to cut. Theme song, composed, recorded, graciously allowed them to use gratis when they were having licensing issues with music with Billy Corgan. They claiming that too. If the character in TNA's if the character is TNA's, where are their format sheets? They don't exist. Where are the scripts? Can't be produced, don't exist. And best part, ready? Surprise! The Hardy Show was behind the scenes recording our entire creative process this whole time. So they have it legally on tape somehow that they've, got the whole creative process that, the broken stuff, trademarks, whatever, down on their end. But TNA is trying to file a claim for that. And then we fast forward to a little bit, 45 minutes ago, actually, a little bit earlier, when we were getting onto the WrestleMania talk. Somebody was trying to say, at Rebby saying, he's your child and you brought him there. What does that say about you as a parent? Your views are very slanted. And she responded saying, the environment was 100% safe and child-friendly. That does not give them the right to air without proper paperwork. Maxwell was 100% safe and well protected at all times. Dixie and Universal made sure of that. Not sure new management would have. Part of the reason we left. Getting technical now regarding releases and permissions to appear. Maxwell, because we have no choice but to given the circumstances. We didn't bring legal garbage into this. TNA did. They want to bring law into this so that we can. Simple as that. Anyone else questioning anything about my kid can pull a Maddox and dump your BS load elsewhere. Shit talk to your heart's content. It's the internet. But don't try and spit facts about someone's kid without knowing what the fuck you're talking about. Why do people think I care about being liked? I clearly don't care about anything but my family at this point. Was that not made clear? Not here for you to like me. I'm literally just a random mom protecting her family and commenting on what I see, experience, just like you guys. Don't like, don't follow. I will be myself regardless. So, there you go. That's some of the other stuff that happened in the day and during the recording here.
Hot off the press.
Yeah.
And I believe she finished it with "fuck that owl" again.
Yes. And
As
fuck
every
that
champion
owl.
should be.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on there. Well, I suppose we'll have to wait and see. It's obviously going to keep developing in the next couple of weeks. But yeah. So thank you very much, Smoot, for that.
No problem.
Is there anything else we want to talk about, guys?
No, I think we're good.
I think we've already answered whether TNA is still in business after all this. For now.
Da, 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 da. Do, 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 do. Yeah, there you
Still
go.
bobbing my head, even when you're just singing it. Ed's ordering us to make sure that we watch Southpaw.
I'll try to watch more of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I will. Definitely. So yeah, so I think that'll pretty much wrap it up this week. Unfortunately, we have a little bit of bad news. We won't be able to do a show next weekend as Smoot is going to be traveling.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be doing it next week. But the good news is we'll be back the following weekend, because the following weekend will be WrestleMania weekend.
Show number 150.
150 will be our WrestleMania preview show. It's almost like the stars have aligned. So yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks. If we get a chance to do one beforehand, and if we can, then we'll obviously we'll sort something out. And if we do, we'll let you know on Twitter and that. So keep an eye on our Twitter feed at the IWC Radio. If you want to send us any questions, we'll keep them all aside. Use the hashtag IWC Radio. There's links on our Twitter page where you can follow us all individually if you want to. Don't forget to check out iwcradio.com. All of our information and shows are on there. If you are able to, please, if you can give the video a thumbs up, and also if you can leave us a review on iTunes, it'd be very much appreciated. Like I said, we'll be back in a couple of weeks where we'll be talking our WrestleMania predictions. Until then, check us out on Twitter. You'll see us all chatting away with wrestling when it's on. And we'll be back in 2 weeks to preview WrestleMania. I'll see you in 2 weeks.